live in LA. We've got another great show for you. Yes, I'm your host, Vilma, and it's exciting. We have a singer-songwriter, music producer, music arranger, and she is also a publisher and author. Plus, she's a professor at Berklee College of Music. One of my professors, so I'm happy to have her on this show. She is Gabrielle Goodman, one of my favorite professors. Yay! And on the show, we will be talking about her albums, her spiritual albums, her jazz, R&B, and classical jazz albums. She's done it all. She's just absolutely fabulous. She also talks about the gender equality in music, and also talking about what she's grateful for. So happy to have her on the show, Professor Gabrielle Goodman. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Vilma Live in LA, and we have a very special person, very special guest in the studio. Actually, we're zooming over to New York, and she is a recording artist, a Berklee College of Music professor, and one of my favorite professors. She is an educator, a singer-songwriter, and arranger, but she is an author. I would love everybody to welcome Gabrielle Goodman right here on the show. Hi, Gabrielle.
Hi, Vilma. How are you? Hello, everyone. You can call me Gabrielle or Gabby.
Gabby, my professor.
But when you go to look for my CDs, it's definitely Gabrielle.
Gabrielle Goodman?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Gabrielle Goodman.
Perfect. So we're going to be covering a lot of things. Let's start with music.
Yes.
When did you know you wanted to be a singer, a songwriter?
The songwriting came later. The singing came when I was probably about 4 years old. And I started listening to musical theater, and especially the sound, believe it or not, the sound of music. And I just thought it was beautiful with Julie Andrews singing The Sound of Music, which would be very far apart from what I do as an artist. I do jazz and R&B, as you know, and gospel, but not a lot of musical theater, although I've had some wonderful experiences. Anyway, I started singing. One of my camp directors, when I was about 4, asked me if there was something that I wanted to sing. And I said yes. And they said, well, what would you like to sing? And I sang The Sound of Music. And I was such a ham that, they were like, oh, this is great. This is great. And my brother tells me, I have no recollection of this whatsoever. My brother tells me that because of that, somewhere towards the end of the camp session at the closing ceremonies, that I sang the #1 song for the for the camp closing session that year when I was a little kid. I have no recollection of it. My brother was like, "You sang for the entire event." I said, "Really?" I remember singing for, a little group of kids, sitting around a tree, under a tree or whatever, and just singing my heart out and being so happy and so elated to sing that song. But I have a very vague remembrance of singing for the final closing ceremonies. But after that, I was always the singer who would sing for the school events. And later on, I joined the gospel choir in church, which I absolutely loved. And the gospel choir, we were one of the first Black Catholic choirs in Baltimore City. I'm from Baltimore. And then I joined the school choir, the gospel choir then. So I really started getting into a different kind of singing. And my parents were both musicians, and all of my siblings are musicians. So it's kind of in my blood. This is God Bless the Child. And that's Scat again. And that's not yours. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Mama may have, and your papa may have. God
had the great opportunity to work with Roberta Flack and Chaka Khan. You
Yes.
also wrote songs
Yeah.
for Roberta, is it? Or Chaka?
I wrote an intro. It was actually an intro arrangement for a Duke Ellington song that Roberta Flack recorded. It's called Prelude, A Prelude to a Kiss. It's on two CDs version. You'll have to just have to look it up. Roberta Flack's version of A Prelude to a Kiss, which is a very popular Duke Ellington song. But I wrote the song. I co-wrote the song. You Can Make the Story Right for Chaka Khan, which was a hit for her in 1993. Went to the top of the Billboard charts, and she actually accepted the song before she had even seen me or met me. My partner took it to her in New York. I was doing a lot of work in New York at that time. I was working a lot with Roberta at the time, but other people in the city were calling me for different gigs. And so a friend of mine said, I want to take you to a producer who's looking for a songwriter after we have this rehearsal with Roberta. I said, okay, And I met this guy. His name is Wayne Brathwaite, and he was writing for all of the huge artists at the time, Billy Ocean, a lot of different people. And he said, I've got some tracks and I need some lyrics to them. So he gave me, I think, 3 songs, just tracks, and within 2 days, I had written, melodies, lyrics, all kinds of stuff like that. So, and then he and I started writing together. And then he met Chaka, I think, at CBGB's at the club, and played it for her. And she said, "This has to be on my next CD." And that was the history is the rest. The rest is history, rather. And then so after that, I went to one of her rehearsals, and they were missing a singer, a soprano. And so I just basically had gone to the rehearsal because I wanted to meet her, because I had not met her with my partner. And she said to me at the time, she said, do you know that this is going to be the next single off my CD? I introduced myself as the writer of the song. Excuse me. And I said, I didn't know. She said, oh, yeah. And then they started singing. I was shocked. That was shock number 1 for me. To be on a recording is one thing, but to be a single that's going to be promoted and widely promoted by an artist such as Chaka Khan is huge. So I'm still in shock from that, right? But then they start singing, and I, as a singer, I'm hearing that the top part is missing for all the harmonies for the background. I'm like, oh my God, somebody needs to fill that in. So I started singing, and she says to me, well, what are you doing tomorrow? She's like, yeah, I really like this. So what are you doing tomorrow? I said, well, I'm not doing anything, but I'm obligated to sing. Happily, I might add, to sing at a concert with Miss Flack the day after in Virginia. We were all in New York at that time. So she said, I tell you what, if you sing this gig with me tomorrow, and I think it was Milwaukee, tomorrow, then I'll fly you to Roberta Flack's gig the next day. And then that went on for like quite a while, with me going back and forth between their gigs, and I was continuing to write and doing my own gigs in New York and different places. It was a wonderful time. And the song, of course, went to, I think, number 3 on the Billboard charts. And it was just
Wow.
great.
I could feel the excitement and the energy as if I was right there with you, because I just love the studios. I love the gigs, everything, and the people, your crew.
Yeah.
It's, been there, done that. I love it so much.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess you people wonder what I'm singing. Believe it or not, I am singing high the most. Gabby wants to sing with me, but I did. I just get a tasket, I left my yellow basket. So people that did do here.
Asia has been wonderful. I mean, God continues to take me to Asia, even like to this day. But anyway, so the very first tour that I did with Roberta Flack, singing background with her, was in China. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not correct. Was in Japan, and it was 1985. Yes, I'm dating myself. It's okay. Black don't crack. Anyway,
We're all good.
little young lady, a very, very young lady, coming from Baltimore. And Miss Flack had heard me, just really sight unseen, unheard, just as a recommendation from her drummer. And she said, oh, I did one show with her. It was not, the show was the audition. And she said, well, do you think you would want to do a tour with me where we open up for Miles Davis? And I was like, are you kidding? Yes, and I get paid for that? Really? Oh my God, yes, So it was wonderful. So that was the beginning of my international touring, just in general. The beginning of my going to Asia. And I've been back many, many times since then. And the flash forward to 1992, the final tour, and I sort of worked with her intermittently, certainly since then. But just coming off of the tour with her then was before I got signed, was 1992, and it was the Southeast Asian tour. We went to, I think, just naming the cities that I told you earlier, Manila. We went to Jakarta, Indonesia. We went to Hong Kong. We went to Japan, probably 5 or 6 cities, Sendai, Tokyo, so many, Niigata, Nagoya, so many cities in Japan. And in fact, I speak to my Japanese students about Japan, and they'll mention where they're from, and I say, "Oh yeah, I've been there." I know this particular place in your town. I've been there. So it's always a rich conversation. Also in China as well, in Hong Kong. So it's been wonderful throughout the years going to Southeast Asia. But when I was on that last tour with Miss Flack in 1992, when I was in Manila, I wrote a song called Manila, and it appears on my first jazz CD for Verve. So whoever's out there is interested in it can look it up, and you can find it on Amazon on my Traveling Light CD. And it's just a wonderful homage to Manila. We had such incredible audiences there. I mean, I'm a firm believer that music is the universal language, and I found this out in Japan the first time I went there. We would say things, Miss Flack would say things to the audience. They didn't know what she was saying most of the time. But once she started singing, once Miles Davis started playing, once we all sang and performed, there was such a synergistic, wonderful energy about everything that we were doing that we didn't need to say a word because music did all of the talking for us. And I have seen that over and over throughout the years. Music is such an incredible barrier breaker, and it breaks down walls, it connects people. It's just a wonderful thing.
Except you and me, yeah. So set 'em up, Joe. I've got a little story you ought to know, yeah. We're drinking, my friend, till the end of a brief episode. Make it one for my baby.
let's segue into your albums, your music.
Okay. Okay, so I did my first CD. It was a jazz CD. I'm sort of multifaceted in terms of the genres of music that I like to sing. And so I was singing a lot of jazz then, as I still do now. And a friend of mine called me when I was on tour. Actually, I had just gotten home from tour. And he says, someone in Germany, here we go with the other different foreign countries. Someone in Germany is looking for a singer to sign to their label. Would you send them send them a cassette of yourself? We were dealing with cassette tapes at that time. And the funny thing was, it was an ex-boyfriend. That's a whole other story. But I thought he was joking at first. You know, we had been broken up for like, I don't know, like maybe 3 or 4 months or something. And I was like, what's it, he's calling me for this? Okay, and I thought he was, I didn't know how sincere he was. And then I said, well, on the off chance that he's really sincere about this, let me go ahead and send the producer some music so that he can listen to it. And my friend called me back, and the company called me from Germany, and they said, we're interested in signing you. And I was telling them that I was about to go on tour with Miss Flack at that time. And they said, well, that's great, because one of our associates is in Japan. So you get to meet him, and you get to meet our Japanese associate in Japan. And so we met there, and he actually brought me contracts in Japan. So I signed the first round of contracts in Japan, and then the second round of contracts came from Germany. And then by January, I'm sorry, of 1993, I was in New York recording. And that was the first CD. It's called Traveling Light. It's a beautiful jazz CD. I'm very, very proud of it. I have 3 of my own compositions on that, and Manila is one of them. And I had been writing a lot of R&B songs up to that point, but I wanted to sort of venture into jazz writing. So I was getting my feet wet with that. So I included, like I said, 3 compositions on that. And then the next one was Until We Love. And I sent you a track of Until We Love, the sort of R&B house version of it. But there's also a very serious jazz version of that song that I did in, I think, 1994, 1995 for the same company. And that got a lot of play. I still have people call me and contact me, email me to this day, asking me if they can record it, or if they can sing it on a performance here, or where can they find the lyrics. It's a very serious song about the condition of the world, and how we as human beings need to have more love for each other and display more love for each other. So the lyrics are, until we love, how can we make a change? Until we love, hatred will still remain alive. So it speaks to man's humanity, inhumanity, and humanity to man. And I decided that I wanted to re-release it, but I wanted to do a different kind of version of it. So I put a house version of it out. I released that and just did a little something different with that.
Get here. across the desert like an Arab man. I don't care how you get here, just get here if you can. Oh, I don't care, I need you right here, right now. I need you right here, right now, by my side, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, I don't care how you get here, just get here, get here, get
So after that, I took a hiatus. I started doing more writing, took a step back from recording for a while, started doing a little bit more teaching. And then someone from Berklee asked me if I wanted to teach full time there, and I turned them down probably like 3 or 4 times before I accepted it, because I thought, oh, if I teach, I won't be able to perform. Yeah. Nothing could be further from the truth. Yeah. Nothing. I have to say this again. Nothing could be further from the truth. So anyway, I started teaching. I was doing workshops at various colleges, and Berklee happened to have been on the list of colleges where I did some of the workshops. And I absolutely fell in love with the kids, with the structure of the college and the kind of music that they were teaching, the structure of the curriculum, because it was all based on jazz and R&B and popular forms of music. And I got to say, some things happened with the record company. I won't go into that deeply at this point, but I was a bit disillusioned. So I took a step back from it and started teaching. Well, I fell way back in love with music all over again, and did some work with my students, and did some work with some other colleagues that I had gotten to know at Berklee, and sort of reached back and started working with some people that I had formerly worked with in New York. So all of the teaching and the songwriting and the work that all of that started coming together. And then they asked me if I wanted to teach full time at Berklee. The funny thing about that was that I loved it so much that I was sort of already teaching at full-time capacity, but not officially. And I said, well, you know what? I might as well make this official. So then I made that official, and then other offers started coming in that sort of took me away from it and took me back. And even Miss Flack called me for a couple of one-night performances, and so it was a lot of give and take with performing and teaching. And to this day, I say, when I first went into that, I thought, if you asked me which one I loved more, I would say performing and recording. But at this point, it's all even. Yeah. It's all even. If I'm away from teaching too long, then I miss it like crazy. Around that time in the early 2000s, I recorded Angel Eyes, which has several of my sort of R&B-ish compositions on it, but it's smooth jazz. Angel Eyes is a traditional jazz classic that I sort of added a little funky beat to, and Walter Beasley, the saxophonist, is playing on that. So you can dance to it, you can groove to it. So it has a little bit R&B edge to it, but it's still jazz. And so that particular CD is one of my favorites because it sort of mixes everything up that I love dearly. And I got an opportunity to work with one of my greatest writing partners, Armstead Christian, on that. His voice appears on that as well. So then I have other CDs after that. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I have a sort of a spiritual CD that can be played on gospel music and on gospel stations and on jazz stations. It combines gospel and and jazz, and Terry Lynn Carrington, the great drummer, the great Grammy Award-winning Terry Lynn Carrington is playing on that. Patrice Rushen, the great pianist singer, is playing on that as well. They both agreed. I couldn't believe that they wanted to work on it. They were like, "What? Yes, come on. What day we're gonna go into the studio?" You know. And so with people like that, you know, I was producing it, and you know, each time I thought, okay, so I have to be official here. I can't be so in awe of the fact that I'm producing these great artists on my project that I lose my nerve. So, you know, I had to be the official producer, writer, arranger that I am and do that. But I was just so in awe and very, very happy, I might add, to be working with those ladies. And it's funny because women in the music industry as songwriters and drummers and pianists, you know, they know us as singers, but they don't always know us as drummers or songwriters, you know, who can write the entire song without anybody else.
Producing.
You know, and like, producing. Right.
Everything, the entire thing. I hear you.
Yeah. So, and it takes a lot to sort of push through that wall that meets you, you know, where people say, well, you know, well, you couldn't have written this. I was singing one of my songs that I had produced on the Spiritual Tapestry CD. That's the one that Terry Lynn and Patrice Rushen appear on. And I handed one of the musicians one of the charts and said, well, this is the song that we're going to do today. And it was a spiritual that I rearranged. And they said, well, something happened with one of the chords, and they said, well, this is what he has here. That's what he has. I said, there's no he. There's no he. I wrote that, you know. And I'll tell you, if the chord sounds weird, I can change it. And let's change it to this. And we changed it. And I said, well, somewhere along the way in writing the chart, and maybe it was 3 o'clock in the morning, I wrote a strange chord or something. I said, well, this is what the chord is. And I'll sit down and play it for you if you need me to do that, you know. But he's such a masterful pianist. He, you know, the moment I told him what the chord actually was, he was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, you know. But he had it in his mind that some guy, and trust me, I love these guys out there, but it's like, okay, women have the capacity to do these things too. So, you know, you sort of have to keep fighting your way through this wall of resistance that says that women can't do all of these things. You know, they can't be writers and producers and all that.
Yeah, the entire thing, because, you know, after graduating from Berklee, some of the songs that I released,
right,
it's me entirely, all the vocals,
right,
the drum tracks, the keyboard tracks, mixing, mastering.
That's right.
And releasing.
That's right. And it's all you. It's not, you know, you and some guy behind the desk, or you and some guy behind a screen, you know.
I think that's really why I pursued, you know, Berklee College of Music. Why I wanted to graduate from Berklee College of Music, because I wanted to be able to do it.
Yes. And the great thing about what's happening now is that Terry Lynn has what's called the Jazz and Gender Justice Division. And this is a division of the college that is now promoting gender equality, you know. And it's really wonderful. I produced a show with Terry Lynn and DeeDee Bridgewater. DeeDee Bridgewater was our guest artist. And DeeDee is someone whom I had worked with on actually a couple of occasions. She had been on a tour with us with a show called Ain't Misbehavin', and that was actually the second time I met her. The first time I was on tour in Germany. But anyway, I saw her somewhere in Boston. I said, listen, you got to come back to the school and do some workshops. And then as I was putting everything together for her workshops, I said, well, why don't I include Terry Lynn? Why don't I include this division of the college and add this, you know, so many different entities. And so we had workshops on women in jazz, and when we hit the stage with the performers, with DeeDee, it was a combination of faculty and students, and half of the people on the stage were female players. You know, it wasn't just you know, guys playing behind DeeDee, you know. So it was a wonderful mixture of male and female artists backing her up and playing the show. And I was the producer, and to this day, I'm really, really proud of that. Hmm.
Of all the songs that you've written, what is the closest to your heart?
Oh, wow. It's a song that actually it's probably out of the most songs that I have uh, allowed to be played on YouTube. It's a song called Sometimes, and I wrote it at a very difficult time in my life. It was a very transitional time. I was breaking up with one of my boyfriends. I was having record company issues, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I wrote this song. It's called Sometimes, and I think it has like 47,000 hits or something like that on YouTube or something. But anyway, every time I play it, I don't play it everywhere I go, but every time I play it, whether it's China, whether it's Boston, whether it's New York, people are always enamored of this song. But more than everybody else being enamored of it, I feel that it really speaks to me and what I was going through at that particular time in my life. And so it's called Sometimes. You can look it up. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Amazon.com. We put it out as a single, but it's also one of the songs that appears on my Angel Eyes CD. Yeah. I found a lot to be grateful for with the pandemic. You know, thank God I never got COVID and never became ill with it. But it made me realize how grateful I was, how lucky I am to have my family, my friends, everybody that I have in my life. My parents are gone, but my brothers are here. I don't have any children, but I have some wonderful people in my life. And it just made me grateful. Made me grateful for music and my artistry and the artistry of others who, when I didn't feel like singing, I could turn on a recording of Chaka Khan or my favorite gospel artist or whomever, Miss Flack, you know, and just be grateful for the opportunities that I've had to travel all over the world. My students, you know, some days I had pandemic fatigue and I thought, I don't even know how I can even get on Zoom one more time. But somehow one of my students would say something or they would sing something, and I would just come out of this dark space that I was in, and it would just uplift me. So I'm grateful for those experiences, for all of the experiences that God has given me, and for the opportunity to connect with people such as yourself all over the world. I know you're in LA, but you've been so many places, you know, and you're connecting us through to so many other places from where you are, you know. And so it made me very, very grateful, I have to say. So pursuing music, if you want to pursue music, if you want to, that's one thing. If you want to learn music, if you want to pursue a career in music, is something else, because learning music is one thing. You work on your artistry, you gather information, you take lessons, you take classes, and you refine your artistry, and that should always happen, whether you are working to be a superstar, or whether you're working to do something locally, or whether you just want to be more knowledgeable of music. So the quest for learning should always be there, you know, and the quest to make yourself better, to improve yourself, should always be there. That's one thing. Now, on the side of the music business, it's important to take music business classes. It is important to network, get to know people who are already in the business and who are already doing well. Ask questions, you know. Try to form alliances with people, form alliances with other musicians, form alliances with other singers, form alliances with writers and producers, because this is the way that you're going to find your way through the industry to get from point A to point C. And while you're doing that, even if you're spectacular, do not be a jerk. You know, there are so many people out there who are wonderful performers, wonderful artists, great singers, great piano players, great players of instruments. And some of them can be not so nice, you know, and nobody wants to work with somebody who just loves themselves so much that they think so highly of themselves and they think very little of everyone else. That's only going to go but so far. So you want to be an amiable person, someone that people actually like to work with. And that, I think, will carry you further than so many other things. There are always going to be people who are more talented than you are. That's just how it is. There are always going to be people who are less talented than you are. That's just how it is. But you have to let your light shine when you come into a situation where you're auditioning for something and you say, well, I don't know what they see in me because, oh my God, listen to that person. I wrote a book on background singing that has yet to be released. We're going to work on that too. That was one of the 3 books that I was talking about. And I interviewed some singer friends of mine who had worked with very famous people. One young lady who has a wonderful career in her own right, Mesa Leak, started singing background Stevie Wonder. And I said, well, you have to tell me your experiences about working with Stevie Wonder. And she was saying that she was so intimidated by the whole thing, but she had to keep even auditioning for Stevie Wonder and singing in front of him and his singers and everything. She had to keep reminding herself of what she had to offer. So always remember that you personally have something to offer, something special to bring to the table. Even though there may be others around you who might even be intimidating to you, just keep going forward and keep learning and keep growing.
I love exactly what you said. Let your light shine.
Let your light shine, yeah.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle.
Thank you.
For the show, and I truly am, so in awe of you.
Oh,
and happy that I've had you as a professor at Berklee College of Music.
Happy to have had you as a student.
Yes, and I look forward to your projects, and I will be there. We're going to be sharing your music with the viewers and the world.
That's great. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this time. Bye-bye.
I guess you people wonder what I'm singing. Believe it or not, I am singing high the moon. Gabby wants to sing with me, well I did. I just get a tasket, I lost my yellow basket. So people that did do he. So today, I guess I better quit while I'm ahead with high is the
And thank you so much for being with me on Vilma Live in LA. It's been such a great episode. It's been such a great time spending it with you. So, from my heart to yours, as always, I appreciate you and always giving you a whole lot of things. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and see you soon. Love you.